Sometimes, the quietest nights speak the loudest truths. There are moments when you sit alone, long after the world has gone to sleep, and a question rises softly in your heart. Why am I still alone? Why do people come and go? Doors open and then slam shut without warning. It's a question that carries both longing and ache, and if you've ever felt it, you know how heavy it can be. At first, you might blame yourself. Maybe you think you're not good enough, not worthy of love, or that you've somehow missed your chance. I've been there, too. That deep, quiet self-doubt that whispers, "What's wrong with me?" But here's what I've learned after walking through my own shadows. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing is broken. Nothing is missing. And nothing, absolutely nothing, happens by accident. We see the surface of life like waves on the ocean. We see meetings and goodbyes, beginnings and endings, as if they are random tides that come and go. But beneath the surface, in the deep waters of the soul, there is a current steady, precise, unshaken. This current is the divine design, the quantum field where every frequency, every intention, is weaving together a picture far bigger than you can see right now. From where you stand, it might look like rejection, but from a higher view, it is preparation. What feels like silence from God, or from the universe, whichever name resonates with you, is not absence. It's alignment. It's like a master artist sketching the first lines of a painting while the canvas still looks empty. Sometimes, you have to sit in what feels like emptiness before you can witness the masterpiece unfold. Your single season, it isn't a pause, and it isn't punishment. It is a sacred space, a refining fire. It is the part of your story where you are not just waiting for someone to love you, you are being shaped into someone who can love deeply, fiercely, and freely. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it seems like nothing is happening. But in that darkness, the seed is breaking open, gathering strength, stretching its roots so that, when the time comes, it can rise into the light without breaking apart. That's you. Right now, your solitude isn't wasted time. It's the fertile ground where your soul grows strong. The quantum field, this invisible realm of energy, responds to what you are, not what you chase. When you cling, grasp, or try to control love with fear, it slips away like water through your hands. But when you rest, when you trust, when you become whole on your own, something extraordinary happens. You begin to radiate a frequency of abundance. And in that frequency, the right connections flow to you effortlessly, like rivers meeting at the ocean. So, if love hasn't arrived yet, it's not because you're behind. You are right on time, exactly where you need to be. Every person who left, every closed door, every lonely night, they weren't signs that you were forgotten. They were signs that the universe is protecting you, refining you, and positioning you for something greater than what you've been asking for. One day, you'll look back and see it clearly. You'll understand why some people couldn't stay, why certain relationships had to end, and why silence was, in truth, the most profound answer of all. For now, breathe. Trust the unseen. Know that your single season is not a void. It is a bridge. And as you walk it, step by step, you are becoming the kind of soul who doesn't just find love, but creates a love that changes everything. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are chosen. And this chapter, no matter how quiet, is shaping you into the masterpiece you were always meant to be. 1. The quiet forge of the soul. There's a kind of silence that feels heavy at first, the kind that stretches on late into the night when the world has gone to sleep, and you are left alone with your thoughts. It's in those moments that many people feel abandoned, as if life has somehow passed them by. But what if I told you this silence isn't empty? What if it's the very space where transformation begins? Solitude is not here to punish you. It's here to train your spirit, to sharpen you in ways that constant noise and companionship never could. When everything grows quiet, the hidden things within you start to rise to the surface. Old wounds you've carried since childhood, fears of being left behind, patterns of self-doubt you didn't even know were there. At first, this can feel overwhelming, like being lost in a room with no windows. But slowly, you begin to see that this is grace in disguise. Think of gold. Before it shines, before it's shaped into something beautiful, it must first endure fire. The fire doesn't destroy it, it purifies it. Your single season is much the same. The loneliness you feel isn't there to break you. It's there to burn away the false layers you've been carrying, the masks you wear to be loved, the stories you tell yourself about not being enough, the habits that keep you stuck in cycles of pain. In this quiet, something remarkable happens. You start to see yourself clearly, without distortion. And as you see yourself, you begin to heal. You realize that you are not the sum of your past mistakes or the echoes of someone else's rejection. You are whole even now, complete, worthy. When you eventually step into love, you'll do so not as someone searching for completion, but as someone overflowing with abundance. You won't be looking for another person to fill a void inside you, because that void will no longer exist. Instead, you'll bring your own light, your own strength, and your own joy into the relationship. And from that place of fullness, love becomes something completely different. It's like two musicians coming together to create a song. If one is out of tune, the music falters. But when both stand in harmony, the melody flows effortlessly. A relationship built on wholeness works the same way. It's not about dependency. It's about collaboration. Two souls, each strong and steady, choosing to build something beautiful together. But to reach that harmony, you must first master your own instrument. That's what this season of solitude is for. It teaches you to sit with your discomfort instead of running from it. It teaches you to listen not just to the world around you, but to the still, small voice within that knows the truth of who you are. It teaches you to love yourself deeply, to treat yourself with the same kindness and respect you hope to one day share with someone else. This process is not easy. There will be days when it feels like nothing is changing. Days when you ache for connection so badly, it almost hurts to breathe. On those days, remember, this growth is rarely loud or dramatic. It's subtle, quiet, like the slow unfolding of a flower or the steady rise of the sun. You don't always see it happening, but one day you wake up and realize you've been transformed. And when that transformation takes root, everything shifts. You stop attracting relationships built on fear or loneliness, because those frequencies no longer match who you are. Instead, you begin to draw in connections that reflect the love and wholeness you've cultivated inside yourself. It's a completely different experience, one rooted in freedom rather than need. So, if you are walking through a season of solitude right now, take heart. You are in the quiet forge, where your soul is being refined. It may not be comfortable, and it certainly isn't easy, but it is profoundly sacred. Trust the process, because when you finally step into love, you will bring with you not just a longing to be loved, but a deep well of love to share. And that kind of love doesn't just survive, it thrives, growing stronger with every season. Just as you have. 2. The sacred protection of your energy. There's a truth I wish someone had told me years ago. Every connection you make is an exchange. It's not just about words, not just about physical touch or shared experiences. Every relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or just a fleeting moment, involves a transfer of energy. When you open your heart to someone, you're giving them more than just your time or attention. You're sharing the deepest part of yourself, your hopes, your fears, your dreams, the invisible essence that makes you you. And that essence is precious. This is why some relationships leave you feeling alive and vibrant, while others leave you feeling drained, confused, even hollow inside. It's not always about what was said or done. It's about the unseen exchange happening beneath the surface, a dance of energies, merging and separating. Sometimes, that exchange is healing and nourishing. Other times, it quietly pulls you away from yourself until you barely recognize who you are. I've lived through this. I've been in rooms full of laughter, surrounded by people who claimed to love me, yet felt my spirit shrinking. I've given my all to someone, only to feel emptier with every passing day. It took me a long time to understand that this wasn't weakness or failure on my part. It was simply a mismatch of frequencies, like trying to play a song with two instruments tuned to different keys. The sound will always feel off, no matter how hard you try to make it work. Here's the grace in all of this. God sees what you cannot see. The universe knows the hidden truths that your heart, blinded by hope or desire, might overlook. So sometimes, doors close abruptly. Sometimes people leave without explanation. Sometimes you're met with silence when you desperately wanted a yes. In the moment, it feels cruel. You cry. You question your worth. You wonder what you did wrong. But over time, sometimes weeks, sometimes years, you begin to see clearly that rejection was actually protection. It's like watching a storm roll in from a distance. You don't always see the lightning from where you stand, but a loving hand is guiding you away from the danger, long before you even realize it's there. Those people, those situations, weren't wrong or bad in a moral sense. They were simply carrying energies, intentions, or wounds that could have tangled with yours in ways that might have pulled you off your path. Think about how you feel after certain interactions. Have you ever noticed that some conversations leave you lighter, inspired, at peace, while others leave you heavy and restless? That's your soul's way of speaking to you. It's a quiet but powerful guidance system, telling you who truly aligns with your journey and who doesn't. When God steps in and closes a door, He is guarding the sacred fire within you. Your light is not meant to be scattered in places that will only consume it without giving anything back. You were not created to endlessly pour yourself out for people who cannot hold what you carry. This is why it's so important to honor your own energy. Begin to notice who makes you feel safe to expand, and who causes you to shrink or doubt yourself. Pay attention to your body, your breath, your inner stillness. They often tell you the truth long before your mind catches up. And here's something tender but true. Some of the people you loved most deeply were never meant to stay forever. Their purpose in your life may have been to teach you something vital: strength, boundaries, compassion, and then to move on. The love was real, even if it was temporary. But holding on past its season can drain the very essence you've worked so hard to protect. So when a door closes, even if it breaks your heart, try to trust that there is wisdom at work. Trust that you are being spared from battles you were never meant to fight. Trust that your soul's journey is being safeguarded by forces that love you more than you can comprehend. You are not weak for walking away. You are not unworthy because someone couldn't see your value. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is to release what isn't aligned, to let go. Not with bitterness, but with gratitude for what was perfect and hope for what will be. In the end, protecting your energy is not selfish. It is sacred, because when your spirit is whole and strong, you have more to give to the right people, at the right time, in ways that uplift rather than deplete. And you'll discover that what once felt like loss was, in truth, grace in disguise, gently keeping you on the path you were always meant to walk. 3. Divine timing and the partner being prepared. There's a quiet comfort in knowing that life has its own rhythm, a rhythm far deeper and wiser than anything we can force or control. In the quantum field, nothing happens by accident. Every meeting, every ending, Every delay is part of a larger harmony that we rarely see in the moment. When love hasn't arrived yet, it's easy to feel like you're behind. You might look at others' friends building families, couples planning futures, and wonder why you're still walking this path alone. But here's the truth that often gets lost in the noise: you are not late. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Your journey isn't running on anyone else's clock. It's unfolding according to a sacred schedule that belongs only to you and the one who is being prepared for you. Imagine two rivers, winding their way through valleys and mountains. From above, they seem separate, flowing in different directions, with no sign they'll ever meet. But somewhere ahead, hidden from view, they are moving toward a single point of convergence. Neither river is rushing or competing. They simply flow, carving their paths, carrying their stories until, at the perfect moment, they merge into one. That is how divine timing works. Your life and the life of your future partner are like those rivers. Even when it feels like you're wandering alone, you are both moving toward each other, shaped by experiences that will make you ready to walk side by side when the time is right. This preparation is quiet but profound. It's happening every day, often in ways you can't see. Perhaps right now, you are learning to heal old wounds, to stand on your own, to trust yourself and the universe more deeply. At the same time, your future partner may be on their own path, facing challenges that will grow them into the person you'll one day meet. You are both being refined like two pieces of a puzzle, each being shaped so that when you finally come together, you fit perfectly without force or struggle. When love is truly aligned, you don't have to chase it or cling to it. It flows to you naturally, like a note in a song that has been waiting to be played. Think of how it feels to hear your favorite piece of music. The harmony doesn't demand your attention. It captures it effortlessly. That's what it's like when two souls meet at the right time. In the right way. There's no convincing, no proving, no desperation. Just a deep, quiet knowing, this is right. This is home. I've learned that when we try to rush love, we often end up with something that looks like love, but doesn't carry its truth. We compromise, we settle, we cling to connections that aren't meant for us simply because we're afraid of being alone. And in doing so, we block the very relationship we've been praying for. Divine timing asks for trust, and trust is one of the hardest lessons of all. It means letting go of control, even when you desperately want to hold on. It means believing that just because you can't see progress doesn't mean nothing is happening. Like a seed planted in the dark, so much growth is invisible until it bursts through the surface. One day, when the moment finally arrives, you'll see why every delay was necessary. You'll look back and understand why some relationships ended abruptly, why certain doors closed, why silence filled the spaces you wished someone would enter. And it will all make sense, not because someone explained it to you, but because you'll feel it in your bones. Ah, now I see. It had to happen this way. So breathe, let yourself rest in the flow of your own river. You are not lost. You are being guided, even now, toward the place where love will meet you, without resistance. And when that meeting comes, it will be effortless, like two frequencies matching perfectly, creating a melody neither of you could play alone. Until then, live fully, be present in this moment. Trust that the universe is weaving something beautiful behind the scenes. Your story isn't delayed. It's simply unfolding piece by piece, note by note, into the song it was always meant to be. 4. The mission that can only be completed in silence. There are certain seasons in life where silence isn't just a background. It becomes the very ground you walk on. It's not the kind of silence that feels empty or lonely, but the kind that holds you like a soft cocoon, shaping you quietly while the world keeps spinning outside. Many of us resist this silence at first. We crave connection. We want to share our days, our thoughts, our hearts with someone who understands us. But sometimes, in order to fulfill the mission your soul came here to complete, you must walk alone for a while, not because you're unworthy of love or companionship, but because certain works require an undivided heart. When the wrong person enters too soon, even someone kind, even someone well-meaning, they can become a distraction without ever intending to. They might pull you in directions you're not meant to go, or plant seeds of doubt. At a time when you need clarity most, it's like trying to hear a soft whisper in a crowded room. The guidance is there, but you can't make out the words through all the noise. This is why solitude is sacred. In this quiet space, you begin to hear your own soul clearly. You start to notice the subtle nudges, the inner guidance that was always present, but so easily drowned out by the voices of others. Call it intuition. Call it God. Call it the deep knowing, whatever name you give it. This inner voice grows louder when you allow yourself to be still. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. If you're constantly playing it, surrounded by sound, you'll never hear when a string is out of tune. You have to pause, listen, and gently adjust. Your soul works the same way. Without moments of silence, you cannot align with the melody you're meant to play in this life. During this season, you may feel called to create, to heal, to build something meaningful, a business, a piece of art, a spiritual practice, or even a new version of yourself. These are assignments that demand your full presence. They require you to pour your energy wholly into the work, free from the entanglements of unfinished relationships or mismatched connections. And it's not just about avoiding external distractions. It's about clearing internal space. When you are constantly pouring into others, even out of love, it's easy to neglect the quiet work of self-discovery. But solitude gives you the chance to step back and see yourself clearly, to ask, who am I when no one else is watching? What am I here to bring into this world? I know this path can feel heavy at times. There will be days when you long for a hand to hold, someone to walk beside you. That longing is natural, and it's okay to feel it. But trust that this current chapter has a purpose. Every ounce of energy you invest now is not wasted. It's building the foundation for the life you will share with someone later. Imagine carrying unfinished tasks and unresolved pain into a relationship. It would be like moving into a new home while still packing boxes from the old one. There's no room for either of you to settle in fully. By embracing this time of solitude, you ensure that when you do meet the right person, you are ready to walk forward without baggage weighing you down. And here's the beauty of it: while you're being prepared, your future partner is too. They're out there, learning their own lessons, clearing their own path, becoming someone who can stand beside you in strength and purpose. When the time comes, you won't have to force anything. There will be a sense of ease, a quiet recognition that you've both done the inner work and are now free to join together without holding each other back. So, if this season feels lonely, remember this: solitude is not absence, it's preparation. The stillness you're in now is the very space where your destiny is taking shape. When the mission is complete, when you've gathered the wisdom and strength you need, love will come naturally, like a soft dawn breaking after a long night. You won't need to chase it or cling to it. You'll simply meet, and together, you'll step into the next chapter whole, unburdened, and ready to build something beautiful side by side. Until then, trust the quiet. It is not empty. It is full of unseen miracles, shaping you in ways you'll only understand when you look back and realize how far you've come. 5. Breaking the cycles of family wounds. There comes a moment in life when you realize that you are carrying more than just your own story. The pain you feel, the struggles you face, the patterns you find yourself repeating, many of them didn't start with you. They were passed down like invisible heirlooms, carried quietly through generations. Maybe you grew up watching relationships fall apart again and again, feeling the sharp edges of words spoken in anger, or the quiet ache of love that was withheld. Maybe you were taught, without anyone ever saying it directly, that love is something to fight for, to chase, or to fear. These wounds run deep, often so deep, we don't even see them clearly. We simply live them out, playing roles we never chose, repeating cycles we never meant to continue. But here's the profound truth: you were chosen to be the one who ends it. Your life, your journey, is not just about you finding happiness. It's about you becoming the point where the chain finally breaks. When you find yourself in a season of solitude, it may feel like punishment or delay, but very often, it is protection and preparation. It's a sacred pause, giving you space to heal the parts of yourself that have been wounded for years, maybe even decades. Without this time, those wounds would spill into every relationship you touch, just as they have for generations before you. Think of a river that's been polluted upstream. Every drop of water that flows forward carries the same debris. If no one steps in to clean it, the pollution just spreads further and further, touching more lives along the way. You, in this moment, are stepping into that river, not just to swim, but to purify it. The work you do now, the forgiveness, the self-awareness, the breaking of unhealthy beliefs changes the course of everything that comes after you. This is why your single season matters so deeply. It's not just about waiting for a partner, it's about rewriting the blueprint of love itself. When you heal, you don't just heal for yourself, you heal for every child who will one day look to you as an example. You heal for your future family, for nieces and nephews, for anyone who will inherit the ripple effect of the love you create. And make no mistake, it is hard work. Facing the wounds of your lineage can feel like walking through fire. There are moments when you'll want to turn away, when it feels easier to just repeat what you were shown, because at least it's familiar. But staying in those patterns only keeps the pain alive. True courage is looking at the dysfunction, naming it, and saying, "This ends with me." You may be the first in your family to say no to unhealthy relationships, to set boundaries, to choose a different way of loving. That might make you feel like the outsider, like you don't quite belong. But that's because you are meant to build something new, not just inherit what was handed down. Your love story, the one you will one day write with your partner, will not just be about romance. It will be a testament to redemption, a living, breathing example that love can be safe, steady, and sacred. It will show future generations that relationships don't have to be battlegrounds. They can be places of healing and growth, where both people flourish instead of fracture. When you hold a baby in your arms someday, your own child, or even the child of someone you love, you will feel the weight of what you've done. You'll know that because of your choices, this little one will grow up in a different world. They will see love modeled in a healthy way. They will never have to carry the same silent burdens you once did. And in that moment, you will understand why the solitude, the tears, and the long nights were all worth it. So if this season feels lonely, remember, you are not just breaking patterns. You are birthing freedom. The work you are doing now is planting seeds for a future you may not fully see, but will one day live to witness. You are becoming the ancestor who changed everything, the one who turned pain into healing, fear into love, and generational wounds into generational blessings. And when love finally comes into your life, it will not be built on the shaky foundations of the past. It will be something entirely new, a fresh beginning, a safe home, a story that future generations will tell with gratitude. You are not just living your life, you are reshaping the destiny of everyone who will come after you. And that, my friend, is a sacred calling, worth every step of this journey. 6. Discovering yourself and your true purpose. There is a quiet gift hidden in solitude, one that we often overlook because, at first, it doesn't feel like a gift at all. When you are single, especially for a long stretch of time. It can feel like emptiness, like something is missing or broken. But over time, if you allow yourself to sit with the silence, you begin to realize that this season isn't a punishment, it's an invitation to come home to yourself. For so much of life, we are taught to look outward. We search for love in other people, for validation in their words, for purpose in their approval. We build our identities on external things, careers, relationships, status. And in doing so, we often lose touch with the most important relationship of all, the one we have with ourselves. When you are single, the noise begins to fade. There is no one else to distract you, no relationship to pour all of your energy into, and while that can feel uncomfortable at first, it creates a rare and powerful space, a space where you can finally hear your own voice. It's in this space that you begin to discover who you really are. Beneath the expectations and roles that have been placed on you, you start to uncover gifts you didn't know you had: a talent, a calling, a quiet passion that lights you up from within. Maybe it's something creative, like painting, writing, or music. Maybe it's a deep sense of compassion that drives you to help others. Or maybe it's simply the courage to live differently, to walk a path that no one else in your family or community has walked before. This process of self-discovery isn't always glamorous. It's messy. It's full of trial and error, moments of doubt, and long nights spent asking questions without easy answers. But every step you take inward matters, because as you come to know yourself, you begin to understand why you're here and what unique role you play in the larger story of life. From the perspective of quantum science, everything in the universe is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, they are all frequencies you send out into the field around you. When you are constantly focused on external things, your energy scatters. But when you turn your attention inward, when you begin to heal, to grow, to align with your deepest truth, something extraordinary happens. Your frequency shifts. And when your frequency shifts, your outer world begins to change as well. You stop attracting the same old patterns, the same painful dynamics, because you are no longer resonating with them. It's like tuning an instrument. When you change the note you're playing, the entire song changes. In this way, working on yourself isn't selfish. It's the most profound act of creation you can offer to the world. So many people dream of a perfect relationship, longing for a partner who will love them unconditionally and stand beside them through life's storms. But here's a truth that took me years to understand. You don't just find that kind of love, you become it. As you heal your wounds and discover your purpose, you naturally become the kind of person who can hold that kind of love and give it freely. You stop chasing love like a prize to be won and start embodying it as a state of being. When this shift happens, you no longer sit around wondering when someone will come to rescue you or complete you. Instead, you begin to feel complete on your own. And from that wholeness, the right relationship flows to you naturally. It's not about desperation or fear anymore. It's about alignment. Like two perfectly matched frequencies meeting in harmony, the connection arrives when you are ready, not before, not after. Your single season, then, is not wasted time. It's the soil where you plant the seeds of the future. Every moment you spend learning about yourself, every dream you dare to pursue, every old belief you choose to release, all of it is shaping the life you are meant to live. And one day, when you look back, you will see that this season wasn't about waiting at all. It was about becoming. So if you are alone right now, don't rush to fill the space with noise or distraction. Sit with yourself. Listen to the quiet hum of your own soul. Ask what it longs for, what it's here to create, and what kind of love it wishes to share. Because the moment you stop only dreaming of a better life and begin to embody it, the world around you will shift to reflect the truth of who you've become. You are not just preparing for love. You are becoming love. And when you live from that place, everything you've been waiting for will find its way to you, not because you chased it, but because you finally matched its frequency. 7. How to steward and embrace your season of singleness. Being single isn't just a waiting room where you sit idly until life finally begins. It's a sacred chapter, a time rich with possibility and growth, if you choose to see it that way. Too often, people waste this season by counting the days, longing for someone to come and fill the empty spaces of their lives. But this isn't a time to wait passively, it's a time to actively build, to pour into yourself and your future with intention. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see that everything you do now is planting seeds for what's to come. One day, when love arrives, you'll look back and realize how deeply this season prepared you not just to meet someone, but to create a life worth sharing. Building a relationship with the divine start by nurturing the most important relationship you will ever have, your relationship with God, or with whatever sacred presence resonates with you. This connection is your anchor. When you spend time in prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, you're not just asking for answers, you're learning to listen. In the stillness, you begin to hear the gentle guidance that can only be felt, not forced. There is a deep peace that comes from knowing you are not walking this path alone. Every step, every tear, every small victory is held in a greater plan. When you root yourself in this awareness, you stop chasing love out of fear and start preparing for it from a place of trust and faith. Strengthening your body, mind, and emotions, your physical, mental, and emotional health are the foundation of everything you build. In this season, care for yourself like someone you deeply love, because you are. Move your body, not out of punishment or pressure, but as a way to honor the life within you. Feed your mind with wisdom instead of endless noise, and give yourself permission to feel your emotions without judgment. Healing isn't about never feeling pain, it's about learning to sit with your feelings, understand them, and release what no longer serves you. When you care for your body and mind, you create a strong, stable vessel for the love and dreams that will one day enter your life. You'll step into your future relationship with strength, not déplétion. Mastering your finances and personal life. Money may seem like a practical detail, but it's deeply connected to freedom and peace of mind. In your single season, take time to understand your relationship with it. Create habits of saving, spending wisely, and eliminating unnecessary debt. This isn't just about numbers on a page, it's about building a life where you feel grounded and secure. A healthy financial foundation allows you to make decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. It also prepares you to step into a future partnership where money isn't a source of constant stress, but a tool to create shared dreams, creating a healthy community. Even though this season may feel solitary, you're not meant to walk it entirely alone. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, friends who inspire growth, mentors who offer wisdom, and a community that holds you accountable. These relationships are like a garden when nurtured. They bloom and provide nourishment for your soul. It's important to recognize that community doesn't replace a romantic relationship, but it does support your journey. When you have healthy connections around you, you're less likely to settle for unhealthy ones just to fill a void, planting seeds for the future. Every choice you make now is like a seed dropped into the soil of your future. Some seeds will sprout quickly: a new skill, a healthy habit, a meaningful friendship. Others may take years to grow, quietly developing roots beneath the surface until the right moment comes for them to bloom. This perspective transforms your single season from a time of lack into a time of abundance. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you begin to see all the things you do have: time, space, energy, and the freedom to shape your life with intention. A season of becoming. The truth is, when you finally meet the person meant to walk beside you, They won't be looking for someone to rescue or complete them, and neither will you. You'll both come to the relationship as whole, thriving individuals, ready to build something beautiful together. So, use this season well. Wake up each day with purpose, knowing that the love you desire isn't just about waiting for someone to appear. It's about becoming the person who can give and receive love freely, without fear or desperation. One day, you will look back on this chapter with gratitude. You will see how the small, faithful actions you took each day created a life filled with meaning, joy, and stability. And you'll know that this time of preparation wasn't wasted. It was the foundation for everything beautiful that came after. 8. Embracing hiddenness as a gift. There are seasons in life when you feel unseen, as if the world has simply passed you by. You watch others move forward. They're building families, achieving milestones, being celebrated, and you wonder why your own life feels so quiet, so invisible. It's easy to mistake this quietness for rejection, to think you've been overlooked or forgotten. But what if this season of hiddenness is not a curse at all, but a divine protection? Sometimes, being unseen is exactly what saves you. There are people and situations you are not meant to encounter right now because they could hurt you, drain you, or pull you away from your purpose. So, in His wisdom, God keeps you hidden, not because you are unworthy, but because you are precious, like a rare treasure. You are kept safe until the time is right for you to be revealed. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To anyone looking at the surface, it seems like nothing is happening. The seed is completely invisible, lost in the darkness beneath the earth. But under that soil, in a place no one can see, life is stirring. The seed is cracking open, growing roots, gathering strength. If it were exposed too soon, before it was ready, it would wither under the sun or be trampled before it had a chance to grow. This is what your hidden season is like. You are being prepared in private so you can thrive in public. The dark, quiet places of your life are not evidence of abandonment. They are evidence of love. They are where your roots grow deep enough to sustain the beauty that will one day bloom. I know how hard this can be. When you feel unseen, it can stir up feelings of loneliness, even shame. You might ask, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't anyone notice me? Why am I always overlooked? But please hear this, there is nothing wrong with you. Your invisibility is not a reflection of your worth. It's a sign of how valuable you are. Sometimes, exposure too early can be dangerous. When the wrong people have access to your heart, they can misuse your kindness or twist your gifts into something they were never meant to be. By keeping you hidden, God is shielding you from those who would mishandle the very light you're meant to share. And hiddenness doesn't just protect you from harm, it also gives you space to grow. When you are not constantly performing or proving yourself, you are free to simply be. In this space, you can focus on healing, learning, and strengthening your inner foundation. It's like a tree growing quietly in the forest. No one notices the slow, steady growth of its trunk and roots. But one day, it will stand tall and unshakable. This season also teaches you patience and trust. When no one is watching, when your efforts seem unseen, you learn to do things simply because they are right, not because they earn you applause. You begin to value the unseen moments, the prayers whispered in the dark, the small acts of faithfulness no one else will ever know about. These are the things that shape your character and prepare you for the day when your light will finally be revealed. And here's the beautiful part: when the time comes, you won't have to fight to be seen. You won't have to shout for attention or prove your worth. Just as a flower naturally blooms when the season changes, you will step into visibility effortlessly. The right people will notice you. The right opportunities will align. The right relationships will form, not because you chased them, but because you were ready. So, If you feel hidden right now, take heart. This is not the end of your story. The very isolation you struggle with today is the soil in which your future growth is taking root. It may be dark and quiet now, but deep beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. One day, you'll look back and realize that being hidden was one of the greatest gifts you were ever given, because it was in the hidden place that you learned who you are, built your strength, and prepared for the life you were always meant to live. Until then, honor this season. Trust that you are not forgotten. You are simply being protected, nurtured, and made ready for the moment when you will shine, not too soon, not too late, but in perfect time. 9. The power of trust and surrender. There comes a point on every journey where you realize how tightly you've been holding on to plans, to timelines, to the idea of how life should unfold. You may not even notice it at first, the way your shoulders tense, the way your heart races whenever something doesn't go according to plan. But deep down, there's a quiet fear driving it all. The fear of losing control. I know this fear well. For much of my life, I believed that if I just worked hard enough, prayed hard enough, and made the right choices, everything would fall perfectly into place. And when it didn't, I felt like a failure, like maybe I hadn't tried hard enough. Or worse, maybe I wasn't worthy of the things I longed for. But here's what I've learned through heartache, disappointment, and the slow work of healing. Control is an illusion, no matter how much we plan, no matter how carefully we try to steer. Life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes it gives us gifts we never asked for. Other times, it takes things away that we thought we couldn't live without. And in that space between what we hoped for and what is, we face a choice: fight or surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean abandoning your dreams or becoming passive. It means releasing your grip on how things must happen and allowing space for something greater to move through your life. It's like standing in a river. When you fight the current, you exhaust yourself. You thrash and strain, convinced that you have to make it all happen through sheer force. But when you stop fighting, when you learn to float, the river carries you where you need to go, often more swiftly and gently than you could have managed on your own. In the realm of love, this lesson is especially important. So many of us try to control our relationships. We strategize, we chase, we manipulate situations, all in an effort to create security. But love cannot flourish in a clenched fist. The tighter you hold, the more fragile it becomes. True love grows in open hands. It flows naturally when both people are free to choose each other without pressure or fear. And that kind of love only arrives when you've learned to trust. Trust yourself, trust the other person, and trust the timing of the universe. When you practice surrender, you shift your energy in profound ways. Instead of broadcasting desperation or anxiety, you begin to radiate peace. You stop sending out the frequency of lack, "I need someone to complete me," and start resonating with the frequency of wholeness. This is the paradox. The very moment you stop chasing love is often the moment it finds you. Because in your stillness, you become a magnet for what is meant for you. I've experienced this in my own life. When I was clinging, everything felt forced and heavy. The wrong people stayed too long, and the right people never seemed to show up. But when I let go, truly let go, the entire landscape of my relationships began to change. The people who weren't aligned with my growth quietly drifted away. The ones who were meant to stay began to appear effortlessly, as if they had been waiting just beyond the horizon. Surrender also brings freedom. When you no longer have to control everything, you can finally breathe. You can rest in the knowing that you are held by something greater than yourself. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. You still plant seeds. You still show up. You still love bravely. But you do it without the constant anxiety of needing to force results. You do it with an open heart, willing to receive whatever comes. even if it looks different from what you imagined. This kind of trust takes practice. It's not a one-time decision. It's a daily choice. Some days you'll feel it deeply, and other days you'll have to remind yourself again and again to loosen your grip. That's okay. Growth is not linear, and surrender is a process. In the end, trust and surrender are not just spiritual concepts. They are practical tools for living. They free you from the exhausting cycle of trying to control what was never yours to control. They teach you to find peace in the midst of uncertainty, and they open the door for love to arrive in its truest form, unforced and undeniable. So, if you find yourself weary from the struggle, consider this. Maybe life isn't asking you to try harder. Maybe it's inviting you to let go, to float instead of fight, to trust that even when you can't see the path ahead, you are being guided by a current far wiser and stronger than you could ever imagine. And when you finally surrender, you'll discover that the freedom and love you've been searching for were never outside of you. They were waiting all along, quietly rising up from within. You are being prepared, not forgotten. There's a quiet truth that settles deep in the soul. Once you've walked through the valleys of waiting, being single does not mean you've been rejected or left behind. It's not proof that you've failed at love or somehow missed your moment. It's far more sacred than that. This chapter of solitude is not an accident. It is a divine strategy, a carefully woven part of a greater plan that is still unfolding. Every delay, every ending, every unanswered prayer is not a punishment. It's preparation. And though it may feel lonely or confusing now, one day you will look back and see how every piece fit perfectly into place. When a door closes, it's easy to focus on what you've lost. You might replay memories in your mind, wondering why it ended, why someone left, why a connection never fully came to life. But what if that closed door wasn't rejection, but protection? What if it was God's way of keeping you safe, of guarding your heart until the right person and the right timing align? Sometimes, love doesn't appear when we want it to, because it would harm us rather than heal us. Sometimes, the people we think are perfect for us are carrying battles we cannot see, wounds that would intertwine with ours and create chaos instead of harmony. So the wait is not empty space, it's a loving shield, a pause filled with unseen grace. Every day you spend in this season is shaping you. The waiting is not wasted. It's the soil where your roots are growing deep, the quiet forge where your soul is being refined. Even when you can't see progress, trust that something is happening beneath the surface. Much like a seed hidden underground, there is transformation you cannot yet witness. And here's the beautiful thing: when love finally arrives, it won't feel forced or fragile. It won't come with desperation or fear. It will come naturally, like a sunrise after the longest night. You will understand, in that moment, why everything had to unfold exactly as it did. The heartbreaks, the delays, the nights you cried alone, they were not detours. They were the very path that brought you here. By the time this love enters your life, you will no longer be looking for someone to complete you. You will have become whole on your own. And from that wholeness, you won't be grasping or clinging. You'll simply be sharing the overflow of love you've already cultivated within yourself. This kind of relationship is not about filling a void. It's about building something beautiful together, rooted in freedom and mutual respect. So, as you walk through this season, carry this truth close to your heart. You are being prepared, not forgotten. Even when the silence feels unbearable, even when the waiting stretches longer than you imagined, remember that every moment has purpose. Nothing is wasted. Your task now is not to chase, force, or control. It is to trust, to loosen your grip on the timeline you thought your life should follow, to keep showing up, growing, and loving yourself and others in the ways you can, right here and now. Love doesn't come from the outside first. It begins within you in the way you speak to yourself, in the way you nurture your dreams, in the way you choose to live with integrity and compassion, even when no one is watching. When you awaken to the truth that you are love, the world begins to reflect that back to you. And when the day comes, you won't have to search or strive. The love meant for you will meet you on the path you've been faithfully walking. It will recognize you because it will be aligned with the person you've become. So breathe deeply. Take one step at a time. Let go of the fear that you've been left behind, and embrace the truth that you are exactly where you need to be. When you are ready, when your heart is whole and your spirit is strong, the universe will reveal what it has been preparing for you all along. Not too soon, not too late, but in perfect time, and in the most perfect way